There are 5 breweries and more than 75 wineries in and around Fredericksburg, Texas. We visited 3 of those breweries, and we are going to highlight 2 in this video. Our first stop this week is the Fatass Brewery, a few miles east of Fredericksburg. What started as a winery now has a brewery. When you arrive, you'll be greeted by Howard Huge. Made in the 1960s by International Fiberglass, Lawndale, California, he stands 19.5 feet tall and weighs 500 pounds. He is one of only 6 that were made with a bow tie. Roadside giants were once common sight on U.S. highways, and only 185 are believed to exist today. Howard was stored in Maine for about 30 years before Fatass won him in an auction in 2017. Tours are available Thursday through Saturday, and reservations are recommended. We didn't take a tour, but we did stop in for a flight of beers. Watch the calendar on their website for food trucks and bands playing. I wish we had gone this month so we could have enjoyed the Caribbean Lobster Guy and a few of the bands that are playing. Next up on our visit was Altstadt Brewing. Another destination with a brewery tour. You can stop by Thursdays and Fridays at 4 p.m. to tag along. We spent our time in the tap room eating a Bavarian pretzel and having a beer or two.
Here's Emily downing the second beer because when I asked for one more, the bartender misinterpreted for one more round, and we have to drive home. So one of us has to be sober.
Also on site is the Tractor Museum for you vintage machinery lovers. Pay attention to their calendar for live bands playing. They seem to have a few nearly every weekend.
Altstadt Brewery was very good. I think the food was pretty decent and the beers were very good. We got the Doppelbock and we're thinking about bringing some with us.
I think it's really cool that they do color-coded because all the t-shirts are color-coded as well as the beer cans and everything else. So all the colors mean the same thing across the board.
And I said, how very German of them.
It was a little cool when we stopped by, but I imagine sitting in the beer garden would have been a nice time with a crowd around us. The tap room overlooks the brewery, which was spotless and fun to look at. Just a little further down the road is LBJ State Park. Lyndon B. Johnson, our 36th president, was born and raised in Texas Hill Country, but his story is not the only one told here. Experience the life of a Texas German farm and marvel at the American bison and Texas longhorns.
We did not realize that there's 2 parts to the LBJ, 2 parks. So we entered at the Texas Park. We're going to go take a tour through it and kind of how he grew up in his ranch, and then we're going to go to the National Historic Site and tour it.
This is just part of, I think this is just part of the land.
Yeah.
The other one is his actual ranch.
Yeah.
Where they've got a landing strip and stuff like that.
Yep. Oh yeah, look right here. It says whitetail. But they're not in here, or I haven't seen any in here. And this is the same fence as the cows, because the cows are right over there.
It says they're numerous in hill country.
Yeah, they are.
Which is proven by the fact that where we're staying, there are times when you can count 20 plus in single fields.
We're going to this.
There were birds in here.
Oh,
Not the right time of year for it.
there's plenty of birds flying around. But I thought they would have like feeders or something. And it doesn't look like they do.
Texas Longhorn Kennel were widespread in Texas in the early 1800s. Veterans returned from the Civil War to a poor state and a damaged economy. But they found a valuable commodity, millions of wild longhorn cattle roaming the state. Longhorns fell out of favor in the early 1900s and numbers declined. Western writer J. Frank Dobie thought it was important to preserve the breed that was integral to the Texas history. With help from others, he procured a herd of longhorns and donated them to the Texas Parks Board in 1941 as the state herd. Make sure you stop by to visit Biscuits and Gravy, the resident longhorns on site. At the Sawyer Beckman Farm, you will experience rangers wearing historical clothing and working the farm. Their daily chores include caring for animals, feeding them, milking them, and gathering eggs. The owners of the farm were neighbors to the Johnson family.
It's like oranges and
Oh,
apples.
yeah. Hello.
After LBJ State Park, we drove a few miles down the road to LBJ National Historic Park. Here we visited the one-room schoolhouse where he attended school as a youth. We stopped by his boyhood home, though access was limited and we just got to peek in. We stopped by the family cemetery, though it was a quick stop. The next, and last time we stopped on this tour, was at the cattle show barn. We took a look at a few of the Hereford cattle that were out. After this, we drove by the airstrip and the Texas White House. Out of our window, we could see what LBJ called Air Force One half. Air Force One would fly him into San Antonio or Austin, and this small jet would land on the airstrip at the ranch. While the Texas White House is normally open to guests, it is currently closed for rehabilitation. President Johnson seems like he was quite down to earth, and if you haven't heard his call with his Tailor from the White House, you should take a listen. I've linked it in the description. I don't recommend it if children are present.
We are back at the schoolhouse because I didn't realize that is where the stamp is. So I'm coming in here to get my stamp for the day.
That's it for our time in Fredericksburg, Texas. We hope you enjoyed our videos. If you haven't already, check out our first video in Fredericksburg where we covered the Nimitz Museum, the Pacific War Museum, and the Ladybird Johnson Municipal Park. It's linked at the end. Thanks for watching.